James Cameron, a man who's been nominated for 7 Academy Awards to this day and owns the box office. But how does a truck driver turn into a box office billionaire? Who really is the man behind some of the most iconic movies in film history? Well, to know that, we have to start from the beginning. Okay, not that far back. James Francis Cameron was born on August 16th, 1954 in Kapuskasing? Sorry, Canada. To Philip Cameron, an electrical engineer, and Shirley Cameron, an artist and nurse. He's the oldest of his 4 siblings. Growing up, Cameron was fascinated by science fiction, technology, and the ocean, if you haven't noticed.
Was endlessly getting busted in math class, doodling behind the textbook.
Unbeknownst to him, though, these early interests would later be the stepping stones to his career. Throughout his teens, he became more involved with the ocean, contacting designers of underwater habitats, and even learning to scuba dive at just 17. And after finishing high school in 1971, Cameron and his family moved to Brea, California, where he started studying physics at California State University in Fullerton. But it wasn't long after arriving that he left the college at the end of 1974.
Then I just dropped out. It's like, okay, I want to live life. No point trying to write if I haven't experienced anything.
After officially becoming a dropout, he jumped into the workforce to support himself. He worked a variety of jobs to make ends meet.
I was a high school janitor, truck driver, all kinds of blue collar jobs.
But throughout the next 3 years drifting around, Cameron would frequently start drinking beer, smoking cannabis, and taking LSD.
Somehow, I don't know how I'm functioning because I'm peaking on acid. I can barely move. I can barely crawl.
And it was during this time that he became interested in special effects. He scanned through student papers on the subject and read countless of books, which of course was only possible by sneaking into the library of the University of Southern California and studying as much as he could while trying not to get caught.
I'd drive down to USC. I'd go in, and for the cost of the Xeroxing, I would Xerox all these doctoral dissertations on optical printing and film stock, film emulsions, and all that stuff. Build up these big binders of how everything was done. I was like a total gearhead.
And after the excitement of seeing Star Wars in 1977, Cameron decided to quit his job as a truck driver with no safety net or job lined up to enter the film industry.
And when I saw Star Wars, I thought, if that could be the highest grossing film in history, then the stuff that I'm seeing in my mind when I listen to fast electronic music and imagine space battles and all this crazy stuff, it's like, I should be doing that. There will be a market for it. There's a market for my imagination.
Or at least he tried to, because with no connections or friends in the field, where was he supposed to start?
It was so far from Hollywood that I didn't even know anybody that knew anybody that had ever worked on a film.
Well, through constant search and the slow making of a short film, 1978's Xenogenesis, made by his newfound knowledge, got him an opening to work as a miniature model maker for 1980's Beyond the Stars, a small budgeted film where he came up with the idea to use McDonald's containers as props to cut costs. Talk about ingenuity.
The creativity had to find its outlet.
And with more experience under his belt, he got the chance to become a production designer for the film Galaxy of Terror. But it wasn't until late 1981 when he got his big opportunity making his real directorial debut with Piranha 2: The Spawning, which a lot of people tend to forget because of his large amount of successes. But I don't blame anyone for not knowing. Cameron was fired not even 2 weeks after filming had started due to creative differences with the producer.
I was hired to direct a film called Piranha 2. I was hired by a very unscrupulous producer, and I was put into an untenable situation, and then fired couple of weeks into the shoot, and the producer took over directing.
And adding salt to the wound, his name would still be attached to the project after release, which came with ruthless criticisms, expectedly ending up a major box office bomb. And with a rating of 4% on Rotten Tomatoes, well,
So here's a case where everyone around me had basically said, you stink, you suck, you don't know what you're doing. And I accepted it. But then a little voice kept saying, I don't think so. I don't think it could be that bad.
But that only encouraged Cameron to write his own material. And the result? Well, maybe you heard of a tiny project 1984's The Terminator. A low-budget sci-fi thriller that became a classic and launched his career. A box office hit, making 78 million in its original run, which is insane considering most movies nowadays barely pass 100 million. And once The Terminator took off, Cameron continued to push boundaries with iconic films some of you might have heard of, like 1986's Aliens, 1989's The Abyss, and his following hit sequel, Terminator 2 Judgment Day. Each film raising the bar on not only practical and visual effects, but his storytelling too.
Just do it. Just pick up a camera and start shooting something. Don't wait to be asked, because nobody's going to ask you. And don't wait for the perfect conditions, because they'll never be perfect.
It wasn't until 6 years later though, in 1997, when he really made history with a production cost of around 200 million, it was the most expensive film made at the time. Taking a huge risk, but succeeding in the end, the romance and drama film became the highest grossing movie of his time, earning close to $2 billion in its initial release, and winning him 3 Academy Awards, which included Best Picture and Best Director. James Cameron was quite literally king of the world! But never want to be complacent with his achievements. He embarked on another ambitious project, which took almost 15 years to make by waiting for technology to catch up to production. A film that goes by the name, released in 2009, the visually stunning movie revolutionized 3D technology by creating a digital stage where live actors performed and the camera seamlessly integrated them into the CG environments. Once again, Avatar became the highest grossing film worldwide, beating its own past record of Titanic, and a title it still holds to this day. Sorry, Gone with the Wind, I'm not adjusting inflation in this video. But Cameron strived for more to continue his record-breaking franchise. He went back to get his feet wet for his interest in the deep sea, and combined his love of the ocean with technology to explore the deepest parts of the planet, which obviously included the Mariana Trench, like that's normal for a film director to do. But in turn, it actually helped him use newly developed underwater cameras for the way of water. Goes to show how a simple childhood passion can add to your future. Even to this day, he continues to deliver with his recent sequel, Fire and Ash, which, if I might add, has already made over 1.3 billion in the box office. And his ongoing work in short documentaries or exploration. The lesson here? If the tools you need to succeed don't exist yet, you have to build them yourself. But let's go back to the original question. Who really is James Cameron? He's still that same truck driver, just now he's driving the entire film industry into the future. If you've stuck until the end, thanks. I usually try to research, edit, and write my stuff on the life of movie icons that interest me. And let me know in the comments, what's your favorite James Cameron movie? Thanks for film watching.